Hi everyone, it's Paul Lange from Disciplined Trading Strategies with this week's Trade of the Week video. This is the week ending 8/25 of 2024 and the stock was MU. This happened on Friday, just right before the weekend, 8/23 of 24. This is based on a 15-minute DTS sell setup with an entry on a 5-minute DTS sell setup with a secondary sign of weakness. The management advanced reward to risk 4.0 to 1 and the trade was done in about an hour and 15 minutes. Just kind of got lucky with this one. Coming up this Monday for all free DTS members, the biweekly scanning night. These have been great sessions. The long-term trader ends up taking most of the trades from the list that I do that night. So if you're there, you can pick up on some of the ideas if you know how to do them yourself. Come join us. It's not recorded, but it's done every other week. If you are not a DTS member, get over to the DTS homepage and figure out how you become a free member. Daily chart of MU. You can see obviously why this was looked at that day because we had this kind of it's a very sloppy chart. So it's a steep decline and a partial run back, but part of the issue was to me that this is kind of a relatively weak daily chart. MU is pretty much a market stock. It has been acting much weaker than the rest of the market stocks. That's not any guarantee, but it's something that I like to look at. This is what it looked like the day before the trade. The day of the trade, it's going to gap down a little bit. And then it's going to do that. You can't see it here, but you will see it in the time frames. It runs down a little bit initially first, runs back up, and then falls the rest of the day. Here's a 60-minute chart. Not learning a whole lot from here. I do not normally like this 60-minute chart to short the next day. I'll explain why I did do it in a minute. We gapped down to there. Also, initially, the stock was not gapping down that much. I initially was looking at it as an earlier in the morning trade. It gapped down, so I had to wait for it to rally back. Kind of a weird day this Friday was. So you don't learn a whole lot from the hourly chart other than the hourly tells me to wait for the entry and not pursue it early. That was an absolute decision, no question about it. Here's the 15-minute chart. You can see a little more detail now of exactly what happened and why I waited. We're going to open down there. It wasn't opening down that low initially. We ended up opening down that far. It ran lower initially, kind of took my eyes off it, ran back up here. I did not short this. This is what I would normally like to do. There's a lot going on this day. It was kind of a weird day. I ended up making more money by getting this one. And the reason is because this ended up being a very precise entry down here. It actually was labeled as a 15-minute sell setup, so it's coming right off this chart. But that was precise enough that the drop to there was a 4R drop, a 4 reward to risk drop. Up here, I wouldn't have done that good. It looks like I would have, but I would have had to give it some room. The entry wouldn't have been as clean. This is a very clean entry and didn't give it any extra room because it either worked or it didn't. So there's a 15-minute chart. That's the strategic chart. That's the time frame of reference. Target right off the bottom. Got kind of lucky with it. With 5-minute chart, I'll show you a little more detail. So that 15-minute sell setup on the 5-minute chart, there's where we open. That 15-minute sell setup is right there on the 5-minute chart. Right there. And it was inside of here I actually got into it on a little secondary sign of weakness. So structure on the 15, entry off the 5 with a secondary sign of weakness. Somebody asked me down here, why am I taking the whole thing? Initially, I was just taking part when I started trailing. By the way, I was gone this whole time where I probably would have never got it down this low. And then I decided when it got down this low to take the whole thing. Somebody asked why, and I just said, well, because it's probably the bottom. I explained my reasons why. I had 3 or 4 reasons why I thought it was the bottom. It was. Took the whole thing, worked out well. One of the concepts I talk a lot about is precision and the fact that you can make good money, good reward to risk without having to trade the craziest stock in the universe, which are very difficult to do. I don't even look at those. I do boring things like this. That was a nice drop. And it also happened relatively quickly. The market kind of stepped in and helped me at that point. This stock also had a relative weakness throughout this trading day. The market was fairly strong this day initially, and the stock just would not come back beyond the gap fill like that. Now, that's not a guarantee. It's a little extra thing I look at. You can get burned looking at that too much sometimes, but a nice market stock that was that weak, it kind of made me a little extra focused on it. If you like trades like this, come join us in the DTS Trading Room. It's not a scalping room. You get watch lists ahead of time. We talk about and discuss. We pick a favorites list. You know exactly what I'm looking at. Plenty of time for most people if you want to join in. We focus on the opening 90 minutes of the day. Occasionally we stay a little bit later, like Friday was kind of a wacky day to me, so I ended up taking this trade later in the morning than I normally do. But come join us if you want to. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm Paul at disciplinedtradingstrategies.com right there. If you like videos like this, check out the free stuff page where you can see other Trade of the Week videos and also other educational videos from events that I have done before. Until next time, this is Paul for DTS. Good trading, everybody.